Right, good morning, welcome back. Okay, for day 3 on the Busa, a very important task. I want to get myself a little bit more control in these handlebars. Now thankfully they drop straight into the original holes in the top yoke and those clamps look perfect. They look like they're meant to be there, great. It's nice when it goes like that. Unfortunately, it doesn't end there. I've got to lock up a little bit of that free play. As you can see by wiggling them around just with your fingers, there's way too much movement there. That's because first of all there were 4 of them and I'm only using 2 now, so half as much support. Also, well, it's for clip-ons and they're very close to the forks, so there isn't much movement that close, but by the time you come out here to these big wide bars, it's going to magnify that movement and I'm going to have chewy steering all over the place. It's going to be horrible, so I've got to lock up that free play just a little bit. In fact, completely, if I can, because the bars themselves, well, they're aluminium, they're going to give me a little bit of flex anyway, like Renthals and that sort of thing. That's what they do. So those clamps need locking up, a simple enough task. That's one of the front rubber ones that I'm not using. That's great because it gives me a datum. That gives me my baseline. I can copy all the angles and the sizes of that and make them exactly the same out of aluminium and then bolt them in rock solid. So let's get on the lathe, chuck up some metal, see how I get on. Right, okay, noodling out solutions, and that's what happens when you haven't got exactly the right tools. And the tool I need is to measure the taper on this rubber bushing, this original rubber bushing which drops into a tapered hole. There's going to be a metal one, so the taper needs to be absolutely exact. If it's not, then it won't sit firmly and solid in the hole. It will rock and move about and that will be no good at all, not safe, especially with steering. So to get that taper absolutely perfect, I'm going to copy the one I've got. Normally you hold a little gauge against it. Any machinist would have it, just a little angle gauge, but I don't have one. So simple, turn down a little piece of bar, slip the bushing onto it. So that means the bushing is held at exactly the same angle as the bed, or it's held in alignment. And then set the compound slide up to follow it as you saw. So as that follows it correctly, there's a little scale on here and it reads now 20 degrees. So I know that that is a 20-degree taper. Perfect, and it means I can make all 4 of them exactly the same. Common sense solution. Ain't hard, is it? Right, there we go, 5 hours work, very happy with that result indeed, and a great deal more practice on the lathe. Did some fantastic little operations there that I've never done before, getting that taper absolutely right, and also the thickness of the item so that when you bolt them in, the two tapers come together and they have to then meet each other. So they clamp solid, but no tighter than that, because obviously you're putting a taper down into a cast aluminium top yoke receiving taper, and if you bolt that in too tight, then you're forcing that taper open. It's a cast aluminium yoke with vibration over the years that could crack, damage your top yoke, and cause all sorts of dangerous problems. So they mate up against with each other. As you nip them up, you can feel them meet each other and stop. That's it. So they're not forcing against that tapered yoke any more than they have to. Really happy with that result, and that's the engineering side of it that I'm really happy with. Also, I got the height right. The two obviously have to be the same height on the top, otherwise your clamps are going to be cockeyed, and that will expand out to the bars and it will feel like riding cockeyed. So they're absolutely bang on. They're about 1/4 to 1/2 thou out, I think, and I know what will happen if I tried to turn that off. I'd turn off too much and end up chasing it till they're too thin. I'm happy with that. That's a tolerance I can live with, and I can't detect it in the bars. Very happy with today's results. Right, now in the next one, hopefully the brake hose and the clutch hose will be here so I can plumb them up, bolt them on, and that's another job done. But for today, that's my clamps solid. Thanks for watching. Take it easy, ride safe. I'll see you next time.